Hi, I'm Shaun Weston, Managing Editor of FoodBev.com. Joining me on Skype today is George Young, a founding partner of Kalypso, an innovation consulting firm based in the US. Good morning, George. Thanks for joining me today.
Good morning, Shaun. Nice to be here.
I understand you've been working with numerous food manufacturers over the last year or so, helping them with product development. Is this what Kalypso specializes in?
Yes, Kalypso is a management consulting firm. We're exclusively focused on product development, innovation, and product lifecycle management.
Okay, who have you been working with in particular?
So we work with numerous food and beverage companies, from really the largest ones down to even some of the smaller ones. Most of them are proprietary. Some of the ones that we can name include PepsiCo and Unilever.
Now, you've done some research on what you call innovation drivers behind breakthrough food and beverage products. What can you share with us?
The unfortunate news is that there isn't any single successful thing you can point to drive breakthrough products for food and beverage, and also food and beverage product development, particularly breakthrough products. It's very tough sledding. So if you look at the numbers of new product introductions in the last 5 years with net sales of 50 million or even 100 million US dollars and greater in the first year, you find less than 20.
Can we blame this all on the current financial situation, or is it something to do with companies not being able to think innovatively?
Well, there's a couple of things. I think it's a combination of having a very competitive industry. Also, the industry has decreased its spending on innovation. If you look at what companies spend on trade promotion relative to research and development or development of innovative products or services, you find a greater than 10 times difference in spending in most cases. So although we can say with certainty that increased R&D spending alone does not drive more innovative products, there is research that says that the companies that spend the least on R&D and on innovation promotion have the poorest shareholder return.
Which sort of makes sense, doesn't it, really? So
Yeah.
those companies that are actually doing something, they're spending the money. Did you say that was less than 20? What are they doing that's different than anyone else?
Well, the things that you can do to increase your chances of breakthrough success, first of all, is to pay attention to market trends. So if you do look at the top products, the highest performing products, many of them are in areas of wellness or extreme flavors or indulgence or active foods. So, most companies that excel in this area are paying attention to market trends. They're using consumer insights, and they're innovating according to those areas. But that alone isn't enough. I mean, if you look at some of the companies that have the greatest, if you look at something like Red Bull, which is a breakthrough category, one of the things that we cite, which is kind of a soft quality of breakthrough innovation, is the ability to sustain commitment. And for breakthrough products, a lot of times the market research and the consumer insights don't really help you out tremendously, because if it's really new, if it's truly a new thing, truly a new category, people don't know they need it or want it yet.
So can you explain what that means, that sustaining commitment?
Well, what it means generally is breakthrough products are driven by an almost entrepreneurial zeal, and this is one of the reasons why it's tough in a large company, because a lot of times a large company limits the amount of entrepreneurial behavior that innovators can exhibit. So if you look at it's outside of food and beverage, but if you look at Toyota's commitment to the Prius, which was, a pretty spectacular failure when it was first introduced, for 5 years it was not doing much, and then it became the cool car to own among the celebrity set, and the sales have really taken off, and it's been a breakthrough category changer in automotive. Red Bull, of course, spawned the entire energy drinks category.
I can understand that now. So maybe what you're saying here is some companies are actually bringing to market something quite fresh and exciting, but because it doesn't initially take off, they can it. Is that right?
Yeah, right. Well, right. You've got to. There's a couple other things too. Some of them, when you go for breakthroughs, it's like in baseball in the United States, it's a home run hitter swinging for the fences is going to strike out a lot.
Yeah.
And so you have to, that's the other thing that companies, if they're truly committed to breakthrough innovation, they have to be prepared to fail more often.
And a lot of the smaller companies, it's very difficult for them to do that, isn't it?
So, well, unless they're small and entrepreneurial and they have that single-minded commitment. So, but we always say, if you're going to go through for breakthroughs, the way you manage that is you scan the horizon, you look for these market trends, you invest in things that you believe in, and you fail fast. So get the concept out there, test it, see how it's doing, and don't be afraid to scrap it and try something else.
Have you come across at all any companies that have delved into areas they're not normally associated with in order to bring a good, innovative product to market?
Well, this is so there's not a lot of track history of success in this area, but this is something that we try to talk about with our clients. So a good example, not in food and beverage, but you could think about it potentially happening, is if you think about if you look at Marvel Comics or Hasbro, the toy manufacturer, they've essentially changed to become entertainment companies. They create toys and characters that then drive, multi-million-dollar entertainment franchises like Transformers and the various Marvel superheroes. So, if you think about it, some of this actually happened back, in my early childhood with cereal and some cartoon characters and things like that in the United States.
Yeah.
But I think one of the ways that food companies can innovate is to start thinking of themselves as more than food manufacturers.
That's an interesting point. What should they think of themselves as?
Well, each one is going to be different, but if you are if you look at PepsiCo, they've got Chester Cheetah. He's got a little bit of cachet on the commercials and things. The question is, would you try to extend some of that into an entertainment franchise?
So what are the trends that you've noticed? I know you can't give too much away to me, but what would you say are the trends this year? And what advice would you give to companies that come to you to say, what should I be bringing to market? In food and beverage in particular, of course.
Right. Well, so what one thing that we see is for large companies to be able to behave like they're smaller. And in food, one of the ways that can be exploited in the market is to bring products that are locally sourced. So even though you're a very large multinational global corporation, bringing foods that are regionally focused and regionally and locally sourced to take advantage of greater consciousness in the consumer and a preference for local foods.
Okay, how do you think marketing has changed, and in particular, how have social networks helped large companies appear to be a bit smaller?
Well, social media allows companies to get a lot of information because they can reach out to a lot of people. They can run contests, surveys. They can just monitor what the people that follow them online are doing, and that's a source of a lot of rich information. I think as an industry, people are just learning how do they parse that. You know, it hasn't been around long enough to know how to do it. But you're seeing a lot of social media, like with Starbucks and others. They're soliciting new product ideas right there on Facebook. They're taking those. Starbucks has several offerings that are available in their cases that were developed on the I think it's My Starbucks idea.
Mm-hmm. I think they've done it very well, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, done it really well.
And McDonald's in Germany, I mean, I don't think people in the United States have seen it, but McDonald's in Germany had an entry where their consumers designed different burgers, and then they featured that burger on the menu. They had a different burger every week for a period this summer.
Great. Well, thank you very much for joining me today, George Young from Kalypso.
Thank you, Shaun.
Thanks again for downloading this podcast. For more news, analysis, opinion, interviews and multimedia for the food and beverage industry, go to foodbev.com.